Welcome to this new Flight Simulator update movie. In this movie, we're going to look at the Bell 47G Ranger, right, which is a helicopter which has been released, I would say, together with the World Update number 16, which takes place in the Caribbean. And you can see that the helicopter comes in two, let's say, types, right? One with the floats, and if we scroll a little bit further down, we can find one with the skids. So if we select the helicopter, we can see that it comes with multiple liveries, white, blue, red, black, red, white, blue, and then we've got yellow, the Aviators Club, and the Xbox One, and the normal one, right? Uh, if we go to the weight and details, we can see some nice things about the upper tank and the lower tank, as well as several things about the lateral center of gravity and the longitudinal center of gravity, right? So two of them, which is really cool. And then we can define the pilot and two passengers, which you can change either using this button, right? That will, let's say, increase the weights of both the pilot and the passengers, or you can decrease it, right? And then you only have the pilot. By default, only the pilot is populated, so that's something you need to take into account. Once you're moving the slider, you can see that those values will start to increase. If we look at the failures which are included in this helicopter, then we've got a few of them, right? We've got the enable failures, of course, a complete failure, the oil system, the oil leak, the magneto left, the fire, the magneto right. Cylinder 1 and 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And those are the failures which you can enable if you want to make it more realistic. In the customization area, there's not a lot which you can customize, right? I would say just the normal things as with normal aircrafts, as you can see. If we now take a look at the other one, which is over here, you will see that it comes also with the same type of liveries, just like the other helicopter, right, with the floats. So you can use this helicopter both by landing on the water, but also landing on the normal ground, right? If you want to land on the ground, then you need to select this one, else you need to select the other one. So let's have a look at how the helicopter looks like. So I'll pause the recording. I will say place the helicopter on one of the spots over the world, and then we'll start recording again. And we're back. The helicopter is already parked at one of the helipads which is included in Flight Simulator, and you can see, I would say, that it's kind of ready to take off, right? It looks really beautiful because if we come closer, right, you will see a lot of details being added here, and we need to watch out, right, because the rotor is still running. So let's go a little bit closer, and then you will see a lot of details. For example, if we start at the door, right, you can see all the pop nails over here, and you can see some usage around the windows and also here, which makes it even more realistic. The thing which is a little bit of pity is that you can't open these doors, right? All of these doors are closed, so you can't really open them as far as I figured out. If you figured out that it's possible, then let me know. Because I saw some graphs, I think, on the internet that it should be possible, but maybe I'm in the incorrect view. Then moving to the back, we can see also the danger sign over here and a lot of detail with this one, right? So we can see that, I would say, even the, let's say, controls to control the helicopter are, I would say, nicely modeled and pretty detailed. And I'm not even, I would say, running on the highest resolution, right? If you look at this, you can see some wear over here, as well as the wear over here, and you can see that steel cable, which is over there. If we move a little bit higher, and then I would say we need to still watch out for that rotor, right, which is still running. And if we zoom onto the rotor, you will see a lot of detail, right? It's really amazing. If you look at the detail, or probably the time they spent on this, a lot of detail, including all the nice, I would say, screws, etc. And if you would look, I would say, a little bit further right, you can even look inside the engine, which shows you even more details. So really cool. Watch out for the rotor again, right? So let's move a little bit to the side. On the other side, right, just like the one we just looked at, you can see some cooling, I would say, frames, I would call it, which are there. Also, here's the same thing applies, right? You can't really do much over here. So don't expect that there are a lot of cool things on the outside. However, on the inside, there's a lot of detail, which I will just show you, right? So first of all, there's the bench, right? The bench where the passengers are sitting. A lot of time has been spent on that, a lot of detail, as well as the, I would say, where, which you can see over here, as well as on the rooftop. I won't show it because it's exactly the same, but that's cool. Also on the back, you can see they even included some kind of, let's say, document and walkie-talkie, which can be used. And then here we've got the place for the pilot. And that's also pretty detailed. You can see a lot of, let's say, gouges, a lot of buttons. Most of them are working, which is really cool. Here we can see the navigation piece, as well as the compass, and a small, I would say, smartphone, right, or smartphone device, as you can see, which can be used for multiple things, which we'll look at, I would say, in a later video, or likely we can have a look at it later on in this video. Uh, if you look at the gouges and all the, I would say, buttons, you will find a lot of things, right? So as mentioned already, here's the navigation piece. We can see all the engine related gouges over here. Then we can see the speed as well as the altitude. And then the most important buttons like the ignition, the fuel, and the battery and generator over here, right? So you can simply click them and then they will switch on, of course. Uh, there are some buttons which are really well hidden, I would say. They're pretty, I would say, low in the aircraft or in the helicopter. Uh, for example, you can find two of them over here, right? The beacon and the navigation lights. As mentioned, some of them can be used, but not all of them. I would say these switches, these type of switches you can use, right? The governor and the fan also. If you switch on the fan, then the fan in front of the feet from the pilot will, let's say, really start turning. So that's really, really nice. And then, of course, we've got that, I would say, smartphone device over here, right? So if we look at that one, we need to go into a different view if we want to really see it in action. But you can change it to the map. You can see it to the departure and arrival, and you can change some settings. So let's change to that different mode as we speak, because we, of course, want to have a look at it. And I need to make sure that I would say, in the correct view, not this one. Sometimes it's a challenge, right? And then we can use this nice button over here, as well as the mouse cursor. And then we can have a closer look at the smartphone device, I would almost say, right? It has a home button, which you can press. It has a map, which shows you the actual location. And here you can use this one, you can use it to center, right? You can zoom in or out. So you can have a closer look at it or zoom out, which is cool. And then you can use the home button to go back to the settings. So inside the settings, you've got a few things, right? You've got the rotor governor, which is by default set to manual. But if you want to make your life easier, you can set it to auto, as well as you can change the cockpit to classic, which will change some things in the cockpit. To be honest, I didn't try it out myself yet. So let's have a look what has changed. Not too, not too, not too far, right? So what has changed? Has something changed? I don't see much change, to be honest. Oh, here it is, right? So if you set it to yes, then you will get the navigation and come over here, and the modern com will change from the left end. So if you want to make it even more realistic, you can switch it, and also you can use this nice Garmin GNS 430. Then you've got the rain cover. Well, as the name already says, right, you can place it, but you can see since the rotor is running, it will likely or directly automatically remove it, as well as you've got the windshield data mark. I'm not sure what that is. I would say windshield is likely what we see in front, right? So what's the difference? Let's go to the outside then, because now I want to know it. Uh, do we see any changes? Right. So let's speed up the turning a bit. And then zoom out. Now we've got it like this, and if we go inside and then say no, I see some differences, but it's kind of hard to see, right? Well, I would say it's cool, right? Uh, so a lot of things, right, which you can control using this, a lot. Some of the things you can control using this system, as well as you can update things over here, right? So if I go to the smartphone again, right, let me do that because I was a little bit far away. You can also press these buttons, right? Update, and that likely, you'd say, gets the information from this nice system on the left side of the pilot. Other than that, right, you can see that they spent, I would say, some pretty much time on also the wear inside the cockpit. On the roof, there's nothing, I would say, really special, as you can see. But I would say, pretty cool helicopter. And I would say, if you look at the details and the price they ask for the helicopter, I would say it's likely a very good buy, right? Next step is, of course, let's say starting everything, right? And as you can see, they also included the checklist. So you can see that the checklist, you can check those items, right? You can zoom into these items or center on those items. And then you can go one by one to make sure that you start the helicopter and make sure that it's running. Uh, there are a lot of, I would say, list, right? Including the preliminary cockpit preparation, the engine start, the after engine start, the hover, the takeoff, the cruise approach, landing, taxi in, and parking. So I would say pretty detailed, a lot of nice stuff. You can even see that here's also something. I do think this might be a light or something, which you can also switch on because this is the panel light. Didn't see that one yet, but if you need a panel light, then look to the left behind you, and then you've got a nice system over there. So here ends the review of this helicopter, right? We are not starting the systems yet. That's in a future video where we will simply explain how to start this nice helicopter and also look at the navigation system, which is included in the modern view of the helicopter, and likely also have a look at, I would say, the old view, right? The classic view. Here ends the video. I hope you liked it. If you liked it, then consider to use the like button. If you got questions or comments, then feel free to post them in the comment box below. And if you want to stay up to date about new videos I'm posting, then make sure that you're subscribing to my channel. Thanks for watching and see you next time.